What's up, YouTube? I'm back. This is the first video I've recorded in like 2 weeks because everything was scheduled. I don't really know what level to play for this, but you read the title. It's about employment. But yeah, this is gonna be about why you should get a job because you're broke. And I'm kidding. Well, the reason I made this video is because, well, one, the economy, not the greatest right now. But I want to make this video because I think one of the big steps you can make in your teen years, I assume most of my audience is teen, is to get a job. Finding something that can make you money just as a side, you can work, I think like 20 hours a week. It would be very effective and beneficial for your future because I'm not really a money spender. I'm a saver. I like saving my money. I started investing. I don't like, okay, most teens might burn their monies on clothes and stuff. I don't try to do that. I try not to do that. I instead just like save it up. 'Cause that's, I care about the long term, I'm trying to tell you guys that. And that's what I want to tell you guys. I want you guys to think about the long term of life, you know. Getting money as soon as you can, starting something as soon as you can. Don't rush your teens, obviously. You always have time. And this is going to be another topic that I talk about, but you always have time, so don't panic. But I'm just saying, if you're unemployed, you're not doing anything, look for a job. There's nothing wrong in doing that. Not only would it be good for you, it'd be good for business. It'd be good for, what else would it be good for? Teaches you about work-life balance, like balancing school and work and stuff like that. It's more than just money. It actually like teaches you foundational like life advice almost. If you don't want to learn life advice from me, if you get a job, you'll learn some life advice there. You'll know how to deal with some crazy people. Now you might think, Moyer, you play Geometry Dash all day. You don't have a job. What are you talking about? I do have a job. Want to know where I work? I work at a car wash. It's not the craziest of jobs, and I know that. But listen, it pays, and I learn how business works almost. It sounds weird, but because I have a job, it almost teaches me how the business works, what's good for business, how shifts are managed, how hours work. It's weird. I might be analyzing it too much, but I'm just saying, having a job, it teaches you so much about like the business environment, and it prepares you for in the future when let's say you go to college, you get a degree, then you get a job from that. This level's a little too hard for me. Here, we'll play a gauntlet, Force Gauntlet. I would like to mention though, because I'm sure some of you guys watching might be struggling with this. It's actually finding a job. My sister, she was struggling to find a job for a while. Literally no place was accepting your application. It's so weird, it's no longer like, oh, you're 16, I'll go to McDonald's, all right, they'll hire you. That's actually not the case. In fact, they don't really be hiring no more. Okay, that's the problem, is they're not accepting applicants, and it sucks. And my method, was not really a method. My sister put me on the car wash to begin with, because nothing was accepting. She decided to do that. She started working at the car wash, and then when it came to her college, because she's in college, when it came to her in college, she was struggling to find a job. Yeah, but the car wash was before that. She started working at the car wash, and then she put me on that. She put me on the method. So I'm not really good when it comes to like finding an actual job. I don't have good advice. I'd go for local businesses. I know it's not really crazy advice, but I'd go for something that's like, oh, it's a small business owned by these people. Maybe they'll like a worker or two. I got really lucky. I was in a fortunate situation where car wash, it's pretty local, people know about it, but also a lot of people go there. All right, so it's not like a inactive local place. It's local, but people go there all the time. It's pretty busy, so I was pretty lucky, and I'm trying to think of like what the best advice is to actually find a job, because again, I get that some they just straight up aren't accepting no more, and it's weird. Like, what are you supposed to say at McDonald's? Like, hey, I got a 4.5 GPA, I got a 1600 SAT, so I should work at McDonald's. Like, that's not how that works. It's weird. They don't really, I don't know how they select people. It's like they have a random number generator and just like, all right, this person can get in, this person can get in, the other people, no, screw them. So I would say apply as many places as you can. Apply to as many places as you can. in your application or however it works, just be like, yo, looking for a job, getting in the industry, learning about whatever. I got good work habits. I'll be a good worker. You got to prove to them that you're going to be a good worker. You also want to prove to them that you're going to stay for some time, just so they keep you around. They're like, okay, this guy's trustworthy. This guy can stay. So, you know, we trust him in having shifts, because they don't want to hire someone that doesn't work. They don't want to hire someone that's like, how do I say this? Doesn't work. If they're like, oh, they put you on the shift for Friday, but it's like, oh, I can't work Friday, and it's like, bro, in the manager's perspective, it's like, bro, they put you on Friday because, you know, they thought you could work, but now you're saying you can't. Like, you just want to make yourself look good in the eyes of the business. All right, that's basically what I'm saying. So let's say you're filing an application, just try to prove to yourself, like, yeah, I'm committed. All right, that's really all you got to do for those corporate, you know, stuff. When it comes to actually working though, here's some advice. You know, show the managers and show the people there that you want to work. All right, it's how you get raises. It's how you boost your credibility. I just got faked out by that spike and I died. Wow, that made me feel really happy about myself. You know, you want to prove to people that you are a good worker and that you will be committed. That's what I want to say about that. Now, the problem with that is you don't want to get trapped in a situation where, like for example, I'm not gonna stay at that car wash forever, bro. I'm going to college. I'm moving on. All right, this is just a little thing, just so I can get some money. All right, and I think they know that. I told my manager that, like, that this is the goal, and doesn't mean you can't be a good worker and still be committed. You know, it's just like, okay, what do you do? You know, what if the job tries to keep you around? What if the managers are like sneaky, and they want to, like, they're like, you're like a puppet on strings, and they try to keep you, you know. And if that if that happens to you guys, I'm not saying this is happening to me or anything, but like, I know, like, I'm sure when it comes to corporations, they might try to do that. They might try to keep you around like that, but like, bro, no. Once you're done, you're done. That's also why I'm not really accepting any like higher roles. You know, I'm kind of just doing my thing as a car washer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really going anywhere, because there's like different roles higher. I'm not doing that, because I'm not gonna be there forever. There's no point. If I like were promoted to manager, I'd basically be trapped. I'd have to stay there. Like, I am more likely to be able to quit and find another job and be fine. But if you're a manager there, it's like, bro, you can't just leave. You know, I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could just leave, but it's a lot more stressful because you have a higher role. That's why I would recommend not to accept any like promotions, or like, there's a difference between a promotion and a raise. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%. I don't know. What I'm saying is, don't feel trapped in the job you're in. Just do it. Get the money you want. You know, show some work etiquette, learn some work etiquette, and that should be good. Please get a job. Don't be a bum all day, is what I'm basically saying. Because I know there's some of my friends who just don't have jobs, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, you have this free time. You know, I have to manage school and work at the same time. These people, they're not even that crazy at school, and they don't have a job. So I'm like, what do you guys do all day? You know, put some use to your time. And that's one thing I really want you guys to get, is like, you got to put some use to your time. You can't let these days just go by. You know, if you just have time, if you have time hanging around, dude, get a job and make money with that time, you know? I mean, it's a lot more easier said than done, you know? And I'm not gonna lie with you guys, I'm a little bit of a money guy. Again, like I mentioned before, I invest. Just regular stock, by the way. I'm not like a crypto, none of that. I'm just messing around with like what I know. Why did I press R? I reset the level, bruh. But yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't say I'm a hustler. That sounds cringe, all right? But like, I will put in work to get money, okay? Because let's be honest, we all need money, all right? That's what makes the world flow. Now, money isn't everything, but big part of the world, all right? We gotta pay taxes, all right? So that's kind of a whole different topic, but yeah. That's this video. Get a job. It's not that hard. It might be hard. Depending on where you are, it might be hard. But just know, at least consider it if you have been trying it, and again, it's just not working. I respect the effort, but comment down below. Let me know what it's like if you guys have tried to get a job, and like if it's hard to do it. Because I heard there's been like this weird epidemic. There is this epidemic where like they're just not accepting anyone. So I'd like to hear more about that. But that'll be about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. Thanks for all the support lately. Honestly, like I didn't really think people would care, but we're actually doing pretty good right now. So thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one.